Yep. Learning target 3, which is solving systems by elimination. So I want you to think about the word elimination. It means it's gone, right? It means get rid of it. So if you're doing like a tournament, it's a single elimination tournament, you lose, you're out, you're gone. Okay? So let's start doing our level 1 by keeping that in mind. Elimination. So if I take a 2x plus a 3y equals 11, and a negative 2x plus 5y equals 13, you can do something with these equations that you may not have known before. I don't know why you would have known. Nobody would have told you. But you can take them and add them, like an addition problem. Like you were in 4th grade or 2nd grade or whenever you learned this, 1st grade, kindergarten, right? You can put a little line under it and add these two together. So, and actually if you look in your book, I know you don't have it and I know we don't refer to it often, but this matches section 7.3 in your book, and they do not use the word elimination. They say solving linear systems by adding or subtracting. We're not going to subtract, we're just going to do adding. So the elimination method is sometimes called the adding method. And here's why. You'll see why it could be called both. So the first step that's most important with elimination is that they're both in standard form, right? Meaning 2x plus 3y. So you have your x's lined up, your y's lined up, and your constants lined up. And you can add your like terms. You add these two x's, you can add these two y's, and add these two constants. And when I go to add my two x's, what happens? They disappear. They cancel each other out. A positive 2x and a negative 2x are gone. So then let's keep continuing on. Add my y's. Add my constants. Would you look at that? Woohoo! I have an equation that is easily solvable, and y equals 3. Elimination is good. Like it was so easy, right? So one of these variables is set up to cancel. You cancel it, and then you combine the others, and there's half of your answer, right? And the awesome part about this is that you do the same thing as in substitution to get the last coefficient, or the last term, right? So now that, and this is the only thing that maybe is a little trickier with this, it was really easy to find that second coordinate in substitution because one of your variables was already solved for. So now I just got to take this 3 and put it here or here. You know, one is not better than the other. Why not work with smaller numbers? I'm going to work with an 11 and a 3 instead of these two. So I'm going to put this 3 in for this y, okay? So 2x plus 3y, which we just found out was 3, equals 11. So, you know, there's a little bit of extra work here, but it's not bad. You guys know how to solve equations. Okay? So then subtract 9, and 2x equals 2. Divide by 2. So that means when y is 3, your x is 1. Elimination. You literally are just eliminating one of the two variables. Okay? So for example, let's try this 2 one. X minus y equals 2, and x plus y equals 10. I mean, it really, and this is a level 1 for a reason, though, right? Remember, we worked our way up to these levels? So we're starting you off with the concept pretty easy. Those x's can't cancel because they're both positive, right? You do know what I mean by cancel. One has to be positive, one has to be negative. They have to be opposites. And negative y and positive y cancel. What does that leave me with? 1x plus 1x is 2x, and 2 plus 10 is? Okay. So then, same deal. Pick an equation. I'm just going to, well, actually, you kind of want to probably try to avoid all minuses and negatives when you can, right? They just throw people off for some reason. So even though 10 is bigger than 2, big deal, I'm sticking with these positives. Choice is yours. I'm just going to put 6 right here, and 6 plus y will give me 10. You know that the only number you can add to 6 to get 10 is 4, right? So y is 4 when x is 2. Are you good on a level 1? There, level 1, we're going to put right next to this level 1 up here, there's going to be hints for each one. Already set up to cancel. And that's what makes it a level 1. Okay. So level 2 is not so bad. Level 2 is one like this. 4x plus 3y equals 2. 5x plus 3y equals negative 2. So you may be looking at this, and I do want to clear up a misconception here. And I kind of did this on purpose. You're looking thinking, oh, cancel out the 2's. Why? You don't want to cancel out the constant. The whole point is canceling out one of the variables so you can solve for the other, right? So don't ever cancel out those constants, okay? At least for right now. So I want to cancel out either the x's or the y's. And one of them, either the x or the y, which one looks really darn close to being ready to cancel? The x's or the y's? The y's, because they're both 3's. But a positive 3 doesn't cancel a positive 3. A negative 3 cancels a positive 3. So here's where it becomes a level 2. What could I do you think? I had some pretty creative options, and first somebody said, just take this negative off and put it there. Doesn't work that way. Woo! Yeah. Isaiah. Sorry. I hope that's not what you were going to say. Go ahead. I know it's not. Okay, it does have something to do with either multiplying or dividing, yeah.
Divide the whole equation?
It's not division, it's going to be multiplication. Yes. So basically she said you need to change that, but I like what she said in both of them, the whole equation. So you can't just change that plus 3y to a minus 3y because you totally changed the whole problem. So do you remember what happens in regular old little equations when you distribute a negative? Yes? When you distribute a negative, you have a negative 4x and a... So this little guy on the outside right here just changes everything changes all the signs of everything? Yeah. So look what I'm going to do. And here's the option. You can choose whichever one you want. I don't care. Okay, if you want to multiply this one by the negative, go for it. If the person sitting next to you wants to multiply the other one by the negative, fine, it'll still work. The key is I need to get one of those 3 y's to be negative. But in the meantime, I got to change everything else too. So this 5y is no longer positive, it's negative. Now the 3y is negative. And this is the one people forget the most. It's all the way over here by itself. That negative 2 has to become a positive 2. You are not just multiplying the terms with the variables. You have to do the whole equation. Okay? That's called taking the opposite of an expression or equation. So now, I don't really need this anymore. I have my 2 equations. I know they're kind of separated, but can I still look at it as, all right, let's get going, cancel it? So which ones cancel now? The positive 3y and the negative 3y. Yeah, that's why I made it that way. And then I just add my positive 4x and my negative 5x. Or just negative x, right? You don't really need that 1. And 2 plus 2 is 4. And then don't forget to divide by your... And if we would have done it the other equation, we wouldn't have to do this step, but that's okay. So my x is negative 4. Did you follow me on that? So level 2 is not quite set up. What makes it a level 2 is that you have to multiply one equation by negative 1. Meaning the numbers are good, you just have to get the sign set. So now that I know that x is negative 4, I can pick, and here's the cool thing. You have 3 equations now, right? Pick whichever one you want. You don't need to use, and that's why I don't really cross this one ever out completely, because you want to still be able to see it. I could put this -4 here, here, or here. I'm just going to do the ones with no negatives just to be on the safe side. 4 times -4 plus 3y equals 2. So it's a little bit of solving equations, but because you're so good at that, it should be a piece of cake. So when x was -4, y was +6, there's your answer. Let's not forget what this means. If I were to graph both of these lines, put them in points or slope-intercept form and graph them, they would meet at this point, right? If I were to solve one of the equations and substitute it in, I would still get this point, right? So I may give you a problem on your test that says, solve this equation all 3 ways. Make sure you get the same answer 3 times, right? Okay? So that is elimination and solved by adding or subtracting. Okay? So now let's talk about what a level 3 looks like. Okay? All right, level 3 is when you got something like this going on. No, I don't want to write that one, sorry. Level 3 is where you have 8x minus 4y equals -4. And then okay. So right off the bat, you notice something's not right. What's off? Yeah, they're not in the same form. This one's okay, but this pesky little 3x is not where it belongs, right? So level 3 is going to be where you kind of have to do some rearranging. So I have to just get it into standard form. It's really close. All I have to do is what? Subtract 3x from both sides, and then that's going to give me. And remember, some of you I let you get away with putting the y and then the x. Well, you need these to line up. Your columns need to line up. So you need to make sure that that x is in this term with the 8, that this 4y is there, and that 14 is okay where it's at. All I did literally was get this over here. I want you to take note that it was a +3 over here, but when you subtract it, it's a negative on the other side. Then once you get it into that form, it may or may not be ready to go. Do you know what I mean by ready to go? Ready to go means it's already set up to cancel. And in this case, it is. After you rearrange them, you may need to figure out that you need to do a level 2 and multiply then. So isn't your goal to get it to a level 1 every single problem? Right? A level 1 cancels. So now we're at a level 1. I can keep going. This is going to give me, you don't have to draw that line unless it helps you. 5x equals 10. Divide both sides by 5. And then your x is 2. To save some time, do you want me to finish and go through to find the rest of them? I think that you understand how to find that. So for x, we're going to put it here, here, or here. Can you use the equation that you scratched off? Sure. You just got rid of it. I mean, you don't really need to scratch it off, I suppose. So your x is 2. Plug it in and find your y. Okay?